Hello, I'm reading this book called The Statue of Liberty Restoration, and in it there's quite a detailed description on how they removed the torch from her, because they had to remove it because it was damaged beyond repair. It now sits in the museum lobby underneath Libby, and they made another one to go on her, and that's when they were taking it off. So I got some pictures anyway to show you, and I'll read this description that's in this book. Now, I don't understand the whole thing with the cranes, like how it was set up. I'm trying to get my head around it, but my expertise is not with cranes but with the Statue of Liberty. So if anyone might be able to help me, then please feel free to underneath with the comments to understand the crane setup a little more. So, rigging for the torch and flame. A jib crane rather than a trolley beam method was chosen to reach the torch and flame. A crane could be designed to put only vertical loads in the southeast corner tower of the scaffold and eliminate horizontal forces into the top of the freestanding structure. So there's the structure around Lady Liberty. This is the corner they're on about, with the cranes at the very top. All machinery could remain safely at the base of the scaffolding. Such a device could be adjusted to easily locate the exact centre of gravity of the old torch, a vital requirement to achieve clean separation. Finally, it would give good clearance from the scaffolding to lower and raise the torch assemblies. The design solution comprised of two luffing jibs set to oppose each other at 45 degrees angles from a vertical axis through their centre of rotation. A single part line was used to load each jib in direct compression. The resulting horizontal components cancelled one another out, thus putting vertical force only into the top of the scaffold. The descending side of the load line was terminated into a flying block that changed the system to a two-fall winch. This passed through a ground trolley, terminating at one end a 125 horsepower gas-powered winch, the other end a 15-ton hand winch. On the platform at the top of the ramp, two 40-foot long steel beams were bolted down. The powered winch was fixed to one end, the hand winch to the other, with a trolley running between. This kept the descending rope from the counter jib vertical as the load jib slewed out, bringing the torch from the inside to a corresponding position on the outside of the scaffold, ready to be lowered to the platform above the museum roof. The original torch was rigged by removing a stained glass octagonal pyramid above the flame. So that is that pyramid right there. And lowering the crane hook in through the opening. I'll just show you the next picture with that piece removed. As you can see, the hook was connected to an adjustable lifting yoke that was in turn bolted to the four main vertical angle iron members of the torch drum, just below the flame, well above the centre of gravity of the section to be removed. So it was hooked up just there. Okay. I've lost my place now. On either side of the proposed separation joint point, slightly above the hand, two pairs of spreader bars linked with vertical rigging screws and diagonal turnbuckles used for dimensional stability were bolted. To separate the old torch, the 4 main angles and 4 minor iron bars were cut through, and the circumferential joint located between the base of the torch balcony and the hand was opened by removing some 250 rivets. And I've got a picture of that right there. So there they are. Oh, jimmying it open, look. And look at all these holes here around the edge of where they separated it. Wow. That was a lot of work to undo all those bolts. And there they are, moving it and putting their things inside. You got a good enough view, I hope. With a lifting winch is attached for safety and an inline dynamometer to record the loads, the spreader bars were slowly jacked apart using the rigging screws. So there they are, hooking the crane up and checking it's all alright. And there they are, lifting it away from the top of the arm. And in here on this part there is the weight, and this shows the weight of that piece that was removed. I'll zoom that nice so you can see exactly how much it weighed. 3,500 pounds roughly on there, just for this little piece. On July the 4th, 1984, accompanied by great company, the final separation was made. The hand winch was used to gradually transfer the torch weight from the rigging screws to the crane line. Once this tricky operation was complete, the rigging screws were detached from the lower spreader bars. As the newly freed torch lifted clear, a bar with 2 tag lines was fitted, and an assembly was lowered and guided down to the base platform where a specially designed cradle mounted on 8 wheels was waiting to receive it. So I'll show you some pictures of them taking the torch down. And there's this other book that has a couple of pictures in, Restoring the Statue of Liberty. So there she is. And there's a torch halfway down. That's the only picture that was in there that was relevant. Okay, I think I've got some more here. Oh yeah, there we are. Here's the 8-wheeled contraption that the torch was sitting on. The rigging screws were reattached to a spare spreader bars on the cradle that were identical to those remaining in the hand. Those remaining bars were used to prevent the residual part of the handle from distorting and to provide an anchorage for the rain cover that was to remain in place for the next 16 months. And I've got pictures of that as well. Lady Liberty with no torch. And this is the rain cover that was used. And it was a copper, made of copper, so it wouldn't react with anything on the statue herself. And that's picture is to be ready yet. The old torch was later removed from the museum roof by a mobile crane and put on temporary display adjacent to the fort wall until the construction of the workshop facilities needed to produce the replica were completed. The new torch had a gilded sheet copper flame without a convenient hole for lifting purposes. To raise the new assembly, a different method was needed. The solution was to produce a large C-hook, the upper end of which was attached to the load line of the crane. The lower end, passing through the open door of the torch balcony, was to be attached to the four main angles as before. And I have pictures of that as well. I marked the book where I needed to use it. Here we go. So here's this C-cup that they were mentioning, the bar. So it was loaded to the top of the crane here, round the edge and through the door. I don't know if you can see that it's through the door in that picture. No, you can't. The door's behind at the back. And here's one from above. The lady's got no spikes to a crown. I don't know if there's any more. Oh yeah, there they are, lowering it in place. Look. And that's when it was in place. To facilitate handling, a removable stub was fitted to the lower end of the C-hook with 4-bolt flange joint. This enabled all connections to be made outside of the torch rather in its very confined interior. The secondary winch was incorporated on the C-hook to keep it level under its own weight as well as under the weight of the torch and flame. The new assembly was wheeled out of the workshop on a second carriage similar to the first, on which it had been built. It was hoisted up to the museum roof by a mobile crane and transferred to the jib crane for raising the additional 260 foot to the waiting hand of Liberty on November the 25th, 1985. The final precision lowering of the new torch was accomplished by skilled use of the power winch. The new skirt was gradually eased over the flange of the lower joint, ready for permanent bolting and re-riveting. All those 250 bolt rivets to be replaced just like they were originally. Wow. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I found it very informative anyway. The book anyway. I don't know how informative my video will be, but there you are. I hope you enjoyed watching. And as I say, if you got any explanations for the cranes, I would be very grateful to understand how they made use of the cranes. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.